I'm Santoine,
I'm Antoine.
and we the Connected Experience.
Bro, what's the connected experience?
It's the lifestyle,
Our lifestyle.
a lifestyle.
How that lifestyle been treating you?
Oh man, that lifestyle treating us good, man. We can't complain. How about yourself?
Same here, man. It ain't nothing to complain about. I'm breathing. I woke up. The kids healthy. The wives healthy. Ain't nothing to complain about.
All right, bet it up. So today, man, we gonna get into Staten Island's own Solomon Childs, man. We go break down just the history of who he is and how he got into music and everything. We really just go get to know him, man. So how you doing, Solomon?
I'm all right, King. How you guys doing? How the Kings?
We all right. We all right.
Right. Yep.
So let's get into your real story, man. Tell us what it was like growing up in Staten Island because it's a worldwide show, and like I don't know if people know where Staten Island is, as far as the other boroughs, the Brooklyn, the Harlem. This is when people say New York. This is what they hear about. But
hmm
tell us about the Staten Island experience.
So Staten Island's a lot different from what was then than it is now. It was more of a it was more lighter climax then than it is now. It was more country than it is now. It's still country, but it was more country then. So you just grew up in it wasn't a Brooklyn, it wasn't a Manhattan, it wasn't a Bronx. Those were city feels, fast, what I mean? Staten Island was pretty slow, what I mean? Everybody knew everybody, everybody was related to everybody. You had it was a good feel, what I mean? So, growing up on Staten Island, you had your scuffs and bruises, what I mean? But that's like anywhere. So, for the most part, Staten Island was cool growing up on it.
So what always confused me about New York is the term boroughs. We from Michigan. We from Inkster, Michigan, and we
hmm
got counties. Is that kind of the same thing? But I know that Brooklyn is in Kings County. How
hmm
does that actually work, man? Because it just all and nobody really has been able to explain it where I grasp the concept.
Yeah, that's counties because Staten Island is Richmond. You
Okay.
know what I mean? So it's counties, and then it's boroughs within counties, just like you said. You know what I
So
mean?
so our boroughs basically like the cities inside the county.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. You know what
That's
I
why they
mean?
call it boroughs, yeah.
Yeah, I think because not for nothing, borough is only Brooklyn, Bronx, Queens, Manhattan, Staten Island. I don't know anywhere else in the world that has a borough.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Right,
You
right.
know,
So you get what I'm saying.
right? You know what I mean? So I'm like, wait, what? You know what I mean? Everywhere else has a county and a city in a county, but Staten Island is counties with cities in them. So I mean, you know,
Yeah. Mm. I mean, it's just it ain't no telling how they was trying to build it up back then because it all stemmed from back then. It
hmm
definitely was something political. I can guarantee that. I
definitely.
guarantee it was something political.
Right. If they
So
name it something else, then they might ain't got to pay as many taxes, something like that, probably.
I'm gonna look into that.
I I remember I seen something one time. Real quick before we go on, I seen something one time where it was somebody was breaking it down like with the MLK. Anywhere in America where MLK is, where it says MLK Highway, MLK
Yeah, it's hella
Expressway.
dangerous. It's hella
it,
dangerous.
it's a ghetto environment. You know what I mean? And they did that so that they could know exactly where we are as people.
Way to use a nigga name to drag it through the mud, dog.
Right.
America, a sick place, man. America
Yes,
is
sir.
the most sadistic place I've ever paid attention to. Like,
Yep.
And
Home of
man,
the
that's
brave. Home of the
yeah,
brave. For real. They meant that when they said home of the brave, because we gonna do what we gonna do.
yeah.
yeah.
So yeah, we brave with it. We doing what we want to do. You know what I mean?
So growing up on Staten Island, man, like you got siblings. Did y'all go to the other boroughs or was family and home life pretty much Staten Island? You gotta catch
Yeah,
a ferry to get there too, by the way, right?
yeah, but you can also get there through car. You got to go over the bridge. It's called the Verrazano Bridge. And if you're coming from Jersey, you would go through the Gothos Bridge or the Outer Bridge. Those would be like the exits that you would come through Jersey. But coming from the city, coming from the other boroughs, you would either have to go through the Staten Island Ferry or you would have to take the Verrazano Bridge. Um,
Now, how rough was that ferry? And I'm gonna tell you why I asked that, because I watched the Hulu series, right? Although I know that's a series, they had like an episode where like both of the enemies was on the ferry and it kind of was go get gully. Was that type of stuff really happening?
yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm not that old, but I'm not that young. So it's like, what I mean, you could see, it was definitely that kind of era where you could get beat up on that boat. You know what I mean? You could get beat up on that boat. If you in the wrong place at the wrong time, you could get beat up on that boat. And a lot of times it usually wouldn't be a Staten Island guy against another Staten Island guy. It would be a Brooklyn guy that may have been going to school in Staten Island and he may have made it to the boat and thought I'm good. And then, he get caught on the boat, or whatever, or something like that, so as far as the other question you said, like, as far as family, my mom, God bless my grandmother, she used to live in Fort Greene.
That's Brooklyn, right?
So yeah, that's Brooklyn. You know what I mean? So, we did a little bit of Fort Greene, you know what I mean, coming up, babysitting times, you know what I mean? Um, and my other grandmother, she was in Saint Nick, which was Harlem.
Okay, yeah.
You know what I mean? So, we did a little bit of that too. So, the kids would basically, I knew a lot of kids from, all throughout the city from just, being in those atmospheres. So
Now,
nine times out of ten, that's how it was for a lot of people though.
now, what is the racial makeup of Staten Island? Because I had read Raekwon's book, and like the racial makeup of Staten Island, are the blacks condensed to one section of the city, and then it's like a country feel, or is it like it's spread out, it's mixed up all the way around? How what's the
Nah,
racial?
nah. Yeah, it was pretty condensed, you know what I mean? It was pretty segregated to a standpoint of, you had your blacks over here, you had your commercial white over here, you know what I mean? But then you had, you know, your scruffy white mixed in with us, you know what I mean? Where it might be a dude that he was just as tough as the black kids, but he was a white boy. You
Oh,
know what I mean?
it's always one cracker in the mix like that. Don't
Right.
forget.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Right.
got a
So we
homeboy like that right now. His name Whitey. He doing some fair time, but
right, right,
he
right,
you talk to him on the phone, you think you was talking to a black dude. You see what I'm
right.
saying?
And we had some good dudes like that. You know what I mean? We got some good dudes like that, some veterans, you know what I mean? That, basically, that was their MO. They would be in the midst of the blacks, you know what I mean? And you couldn't tell them apart. You didn't look at them. But what Staten Island has that was kind of like the X factor for it was that we have a lot of Italians. And as we all know, the history, Italians aren't, well, they're not considered white people. They're actually considered, half original because, Hannibal conquered Italy.
Yeah,
You know what
yeah.
I
They
mean?
like the nigga of white people. Like
Right, exactly.
they yeah.
They won't say it though. You know what I
Shit, they
mean?
know it though.
but
They
they
know
know
it.
it though, right? Feel me?
Yeah.
So we have that. That's what we have on Staten Island. So that's what we came up with a lot. So it was more or less those kind of vibes with because we don't have it wasn't like we had Anglo-Saxon white people, you know what I mean? We didn't have Scottish, you know what I mean? We didn't have,
Mhm.
Braveheart, you know what I mean? We didn't have Mel Gibson and them niggas, you know what I mean? We had Joe Pesci and Robert De Niro. We had them. You know what I mean? So, that was kind of like, what made Staten Island, makes Staten Island so, one of the dopest boroughs, man. You know what I
How
mean?
was that relationship between blacks and Italians though? Because I mean, to be honest with you, nobody like black people. And the black people just love the mob, right? They love the idea of the Italian mafia. But like me and my brother always say, hey, like, don't get it twisted. They want to push that dope in our part of the where we from. They don't
Right,
want that shit. They know different. They don't give a fuck about blacks either. So like
right,
when people
right,
idolize these gangsters and shit, I'd be like, hey bro, you should be talking about Frank Matthews. He did it and got away. You feel what I'm saying? People
right.
should be talking about Meech. He
Instead
did
of
it.
Frank Luciano.
Yeah,
You know what
like
I
come
mean?
on,
Yeah,
bro.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
I'm talking about, and this ain't even about gangsters, but I'm just saying black people be so enamored with the Italian mafia, and it's like, but you got Frank Matthews, he did it bigger than the mafia, and those boys was given license plates because he lived on Nate Street, so that's
Right,
something to be reckoned with. And he got
right,
away
right,
because we don't know where he at to this day. So he
right,
didn't go to
right.
jail, he didn't get killed in the game, he didn't
Nope.
tell on nobody, and he got away with it. So
Yep,
that's if
yep.
you go idolize somebody for gangsterism, it should be that guy right there. You feel me?
Right,
But
right, right.
how was the relationship growing up with
I mean,
Italian?
it was like any other relationship you had. Like you said, it was you had some whiteys, like like your boy Whitey in the Feds. You
Yeah.
had some of them, and then you had some of the other ones. So some meshed, some didn't. Some drama, some wasn't. You know, it didn't really start getting interracial till I say the early people who are early 30s right now, that generation.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
so that's the next hip hop generation actually. Like,
Yeah, that's the interracial relationship.
yeah,
That's the
yeah, that's
interracial race where see, because it's like, we wasn't interested. We like there's so many interracial relationships today that it's crazy. I know coming up, when I was coming up, we wasn't checking for no white girls at all. It wasn't like we was racist or anything. We just wasn't checking for them because black girls was dope. Big bamboo earrings, at least two pair with the bubblegum jeans and fat. You know what I mean? We was into that. We thought there
Right.
was nothing looked like a black girl, but it's like nowadays you go out there and these white girls look just as appealing as a black girl
right, right,
looks.
right. With the yeah, yeah, they all look the same. They all got the
You know what I
same
mean?
body. Yeah. So what
Right.
type of what type of kid were you growing up on Staten Island? Because you said that the family was big and like your family actually became like you and your family actually became hip hop legends. But before that, like what type of kid are you and what's the pecking order of growing up as a kid? Like, are you looking up to your older? I mean, is Ghostface your older cousin, your little
Yeah.
cousin?
Older.
And then Capadonna is like a god brother to you, right?
Right, right,
So
right.
so where do you fall in? Like, so you and Capadonna running together, looking up to Ghostface. How do you fit into all of
No,
this?
well, I look up to them. They
Okay,
they they my older peers, you know what I mean? They 54, 52. They older, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? They the G's, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm 45, you know what I mean? So, it's like, I'm like, I looked up to them. I wanted to move like them. I wanted to talk like them. I wanted to wear my sneakers like them. I wanted to wear my jeans like them. You know what I mean? So, anything that came through them. You know what I mean? I seen it, you know what I mean? And it basically was, you know, me, mimicking whatever they were doing actually.
so what part of so what part of Staten Island are you from? Like,
I'm from
so
West Brighton. I'm from somewhere called the Markham Homes.
Okay.
oh, okay,
Yeah, they from Stapleton and Park Hill.
okay,
Okay.
so
How far is that apart?
It's like it's a few miles apart. It's like it's a few cities. It's like a few towns away. Like, you know what I mean. So you got Park Hill and you got Stapleton. They like back to back. And then you got another spot that comes before us. It's called New Brighton, and Bay Street, Victory Boulevard. That's kind of like an area as well. You know what I mean? And
I
then
heard of New Brighton. Like that sounded so familiar to me when you just said that.
yeah, New Brighton is that they used they had a crew came out of New Brighton called the Now Born Click.
Okay. Yeah. That, yeah. I
Rapper named
definitely heard.
Soldier. You know what I mean? He was a part of that. You know what I mean? They had came out of there. You know, what is these? What's my name? My man's name? Ruthless Bastards from Wu Tang. A lot of them were from New Brighton. Apocalypse and Iron Mike. You know what I
Okay.
mean?
okay,
They was from now they're from Now Born. You know, I'm kind of from New Brighton, but I'm not really. I just grew up there. I moved when I was a little kid from West Brighton to New Brighton, and then I moved back to West Brighton as I got older.
Okay.
But yeah, then after West Brighton, you got Port Richmond, and then you got Manus Harbor. You got Toad Hill, the Berry Homes, you know what I mean, XYZ, so for South Beach, you know what I mean. But I'm from West Brighton. So like anybody else, I can't, say anything other than what it is. But my part is the livest part of Staten Island. West Brighton is the livest.
Right.
You know
So
what I
is
mean?
it
So I mean, I'm not gonna
yeah.
say, everybody gonna be like, oh, well, I'm from Park Hill, so it's the livest part. Or I'm from Manus Harbor, it's the livest part. That's where they from, so they supposed to say that. So I'm from West Brighton. It don't get no better than West Brighton.
So okay, so West Brighton, you growing up here, like, is it a two-parent household? Is it siblings? Like, what's going on in your life growing up here? Like, from the child's perspective of everything that's going on. Because you say you in Brooklyn, you in Harlem, like, then you
Hmm.
coming back to the island. So, are you the it kid? Because you really in Harlem, you really in Brooklyn? Because we know some of these kids not even never getting on the ferry going to these places in this grandma house. So you there on a regular basis.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
are you bringing the flavor back to Staten Island like yo niggas
No.
they do? It ain't like
No,
that.
no, I'm not bringing no flavor back. I was GI Joe man and Transformers. I wasn't doing none of that. I was just mom and dad's boy, grandma's boy. You know what I mean? I was just basically, that was where I was when it was time to get babysitting. Mama was a children's doctor, so she worked 3 to 11. My dad, God bless him, he worked with the special kids. So, a lot of times, sometimes he wouldn't even make it home because they would stick him and he'd have to work, hours and hours and hours. He worked in this place called Willowbrook. You know what I mean? So, other than that, I mean, I was just like, I was a regular kid. I was kind of soft, you know what I mean? I was a crybaby. You know what I mean? I was the only kid to like 12, you know what I mean? So it was like, I didn't have no little brothers and no little sisters or nothing. And then my mom, her and my dad got divorced when I was like probably like 9. And then she linked with my stepdad, what I mean, at the time. And they had 2 sets of twins, which is my brothers, you know what I mean? And after that, it was like, pretty much, that's when I started getting siblings, you know what I mean? And that's when I started like even like acting out more, getting more rebellious, getting more like, hard headed, and not listening, you know what I mean? And, my mom, she was like, she couldn't take me. She sent me away, to live with my aunt and my uncle in California, in San Diego.
Okay. That's so.
Um,
What type of culture shock was that?
you know what? Let me tell you, the funny thing is that, when I went to San Diego, um, the perfect example of how amazing San Diego was that when I got there, my uncle and my aunt, they lived on a military base. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
so they in the
My
Navy.
No, they was in the Marines. My uncle was in the Marines. And my uncle Mac, he was in the Marines. And my aunt Rosalie, my TT Rosalie. So um my uncle Mac, he taught me a whole lot of shit. You know what I mean? He taught me how to cook, all kinds of stuff. But prior to that, when I first got there, I had to be put in school because I was still a kid. So they had to put me in school. So my transcripts came from New York. And first day of school, they put me to homeroom. So when I went to home, the dope thing was that it was an outside school. Like in
Yeah.
order to get from class to class, you had to go outside. So I already felt like I was in the movies. You know what I mean? So I'm
Right,
like, this
right.
shit is amazing. You know what I mean? So it was like, I went to my homeroom, and when I walked in the homeroom, it had kids in wheelchairs, kids with cerebral palsy, um, kids with autism. You
They
know,
just threw you in there.
no, I was in special ed in New York,
Okay.
but I was in special ed for behavioral issues.
Right.
Because in New York, that's what they do to you. They throw you in special ed for being bad in class.
Okay, right,
So
right. They don't want to deal with you.
right, so they'll put you in special ed where it's only five of y'all with two teachers.
Right, but in special ed in San Diego is
It
special
was it
needs.
it
It's
was special needs kids, you know,
yeah.
kids like I said, kids with cerebral palsy, kids with autism. So it's like the teachers is looking at me like, wait, you don't belong here. You're in the wrong place. I'm like, nah, this is where they sent me. I gave her my homeroom slip. She said, yeah, this is him. He's supposed to be here. So they went back, they called the school in Staten Island. They said, well, what's going on? And they explained what kind of program they were running. They
Okay.
said, oh, okay, no problem. So they reevaluated me and they put me back in a class with 31. I excelled. My grades went from D minuses to A plus in a matter of weeks. It wasn't like it was some amazing shit. It was just the fact that I didn't know none of these kids. So I couldn't be the class clown no more.
Right. It ain't even gonna work. The joke's not even gonna
The,
resonate.
the, right. These niggas don't know me. You know what I mean? So now I gotta be on a different wave. You know
What
what I
year
mean?
is this? What year is this?
Shit. This has gotta be what's this? Probably like maybe I don't know, maybe 89.
So where are you at listening to hip hop? Because you coming from Staten Island, you hanging in Brooklyn and Harlem, and then you in San Diego. So
Hmm.
musically, what are you picking up?
Musically, so musically, I never knew nothing about hip hop. I never knew about hip hop musically because of the way my mom and my dad's playlist was. So when we got in the car with my mother, it was Sade, Pat Benatar, Whitney Houston, Ashford and Simpson, um, um, Luther Vandross, Freddie Jackson. It was that kind of music that my mom listened to. And then when I got in the car with my dad, it was Randy Travis, Willie Nelson, Conway Twitty, George Strait, Dolly Parton, because he was more on a Western, flow. He was a cowboy, you know what I mean?
Okay.
Both my parents are Latin, you know what I mean? They're from Honduras, you know what I mean? So it was a different feel musically wise for them. So that just made me generate to more of an R&B feel, which was New Edition,
Yeah.
Belle Biv DeVoe, Bobby Brown, you know, seasons change, people change, like those kind of songs, you know what I mean? So, going to school and shit, I remember my cousins, they was at the lunchroom table and they was doing the beatbox and all that and rapping and singing the song and all that. And I'm like, yo, what are y'all singing? What is that? What you know what I mean? And they
So
like, yo, go ahead.
no. I'm listening. I'm listening.
Okay. So they was like, you're like, what do you mean? What is this? You don't know what this is? Now I mean, this is Sonic. I'm like,
Yeah.
what? Who? I don't even know what that is. What does that mean? So they like, yo, you don't be watching Video Music Box? I'm like, nah, I don't know what that is, man. So they like, yo, when you get home today from school, put your TV on channel 31.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't got channel 31. My TV only go up to 13. They
Yeah.
like, nah, 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 nah. You got to use the other button. Put that button on you, and then make that little button down there go all the way to 31. I said, oh shit, that's what that button is for. I never knew what that button was for because every time I played with that button, it was just snow. The channels was just shh,
Right,
shh.
right,
That
right.
was it. So I got home that day. It was about 3:25. You know what I mean? And I had turned it on. You know what I mean? And it was my man with the curly afro painting and
Yeah.
shit. So you know what I mean? I called my cousin. I'm like, yo, Willie, what you talking about, man? This dude on here with painting a picture with an afro. He's like, never mind him, man. It's gonna go off exactly at 3:30 on the dot, and it's gonna come on. I said, all right, man, whatever. So I hung up mine, no cell phones, no none of that. It's the house phone. You know what I mean? So I had to get off quick because that's mama house phone anyway. That ain't your. You can't just
Right, you can't be on the
you
phone.
can't just you can't just pick up the phone and make a call. I don't know. With these kids nowadays is spoiled. I could never just go in my mama, grab my mama phone like, yeah, mom, I'm about to make a call. Nigga, you pay that bill if you don't put my phone down. So um you know, but exactly 3:30 it came on. Been pinning and pinning, pinning, been pinning and pinning. I felt like I was in another world. I didn't know what the fuck this was. You had people, you had people dancing. It looked like outside. You know what I mean? It looked like the hood. It looked like the people. Like I was. It looked like I was gonna see someone that I knew. You know what I mean? And I was like, yo, what is this? And he said, "Yeah, what's up, everybody? This is VJ Ralph McDaniels, and we're gonna get right into it. First video, special ed. I got it made. Bennett, Bennett, Bennett. I got it made.
That used to
And
be my favorite song.
and I'm looking at this kid, and I'm like, he looks like he's my age. He's got on the windbreaker jacket. He's fly. He got the fade, the curly
Curly
top.
top.
I'm like, I said, yo, I don't want to do nothing else in life at this point. This is what I want to be when I grow up. This guy. I want to be him. This is what I want to do. And I mean, I sat there and I watched that hour of that program, and it was just mesmerizing from Big Daddy Kane's Ain't No Half Step into Rock Him with the Tommy guns and Follow the Leader. I mean, it was just crazy. It was dope. And then you had, and then Ralph McDaniels will splash you with R&B, where it was Lisa in full force.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'm like, these big brolic ass niggas is singing. I said, yo, these niggas look like they play football. So it was amazing. You know what I mean? And it was like, that's what I wanted to do.
So how long do you stay in San Diego?
I stayed in San Diego for like a year and like a year and 2 months. Then my dad, God bless him, but he got on some let's just call it some other shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because him and my mom wasn't together. So he felt like he didn't want my uncle and my aunt raising me. He didn't feel like he had a say so in me leaving Staten Island and going to live with them. So he ordered for me to come back. And
So are you a parent?
yes.
As a parent, do you feel like now that you're a parent, do you see where he was coming from? Because as a kid, you like, damn, Pop, you fucking, I'm out here, I'm doing better in school, blah blah blah. But as a dad, do you feel where he's coming from?
As a dad, I feel where he's coming from, but right is right and wrong is wrong. He didn't. When I came back, he didn't make it where I didn't do anything prior to this. I didn't have kids. I didn't do no bids. I wasn't shooting at niggas. I wasn't fighting with niggas in the streets. I didn't experience none of that till I came back. Because
so you felt like that was the catalyst, the downfall.
Right, definitely. Right. Because when I came back was simultaneously my mama moving to Cincinnati.
Okay.
And she gave me the ultimatum like, hey, listen, I'm not staying here. You can come with me or you can go with your father. So I'm back in Staten Island, but I've been gone for a year and 3 months. I'm taller. I look different. I got peach fuzz now. I don't look the same like how I looked before because it's a different environment.
Yeah.
I was sleeping more. I was doing my push-ups with my Uncle Matt. I was learning
military family, the whole family.
Right, right. So it elevated me, and my appearance to look other than what I had left looking like.
Yeah, that's
so.
Yeah.
Right. So, that made me, hit the streets and hit the blocks and be doing stuff that I wasn't supposed to be doing.
Now,
If I would have,
not to cut you off, but when moms gave you the ultimatum, why did you pick your pops? Like,
because I didn't want, it was like I was the babysitter.
Oh, because she got the 4 kids now.
Right. And she only had She only had my brothers Andrew and Aaron. She didn't have Julian and Joseph yet. She was pregnant with them. So, and I was already watching Andrew and Aaron while she went to work and my stepfather went to work. So I was like, wait a minute, man. You know what I mean? I'm 13 going on 14, man. These little bitches out here got the checkerboard pants and them
I'm
shits
trying
is
to be
fitting them.
outside with that.
I'm trying to be
Yeah.
outside. What's going on? You know what I mean? Everybody got on the starters jackets and you know what I mean, and Reebok pumps and you know. I'm like, wait a minute, man, something ain't right. Nah, ma, nah, I ain't going to no Cincinnati. I ain't fucking with that. Nah, I'm good. I'm staying here with daddy. You know what I mean?
Now, when you stay with pops, it's just you and pops in the crib.
It was my grandmother, his mom, God bless her, my aunt, my grandmother, and my grandfather was still alive too at the time. So it was just basically it was that it was family oriented, you know what I mean? But it was freedom because my dad was a Rolling Stone, you know what I
So,
mean? He
so
was still
basically, you at home
shaking.
with grandma and them.
Nah, grandma and them is just doing them. I'm not even at home with them. I'm basically I'm
I'm
basically
outside.
I'm outside, you know what I mean? I had to be home at a certain time, but I'm outside, you know what I mean? So, it was basically one of those, and it was like, it just started flemishing, and blemishing more and more and more. And it's like, I started learning how to cook up, I started learning how to clean guns, and I started learning how, you know, who's lying to me and who's fraud and this bitch is fake and this bitch ain't really real and that's his baby
So you
mother. And
indulging in the street life for real at this point.
right. And I didn't have to. I didn't because it wasn't like I was a project kid. I didn't grow up in the hallways in the corridors of the projects. You know what I mean? I didn't have all that. My first environment, which was the Markham homes, it was like it's definitely projects, but it was like a gated community type of slum projects without the gate.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, but it was still the hood, you know what I mean? Because the projects was like a little bit up the block and we always had drama with the projects. So it was like that, but I mean, it wasn't, but mind you, I had left that because I went to New Brighton with my mom when we moved there when I was small. And that was just like basically suburb blocks.
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean? But, other than that, it
Now,
was,
when you indulging in this street shit, because basically you got the freedom, you live with grandma, but I can be outside and all of that. Where are you at with the music? Are you thinking like, yo, I could do this, or are you just like, yo, I fuck with this? It's a soundtrack to my life. You say you learn how to cook up, you learn how to clean guns. Is the music playing a part subconsciously in this, or are you like not mixing the two?
Nah, so the thing with the music, right, is that I'm dabbling in freestyle. And what was crazy was that when I would freestyle, I would be freestyling nothing, you know, monolical, shenolical, freerolical, weabolical, tiamolical, reavolical, shalical, alacolical. And dudes would be like, wait, what? What's he saying? And but the OGs would be like, he ain't saying nothing, but he sound like Cool G rap. And I would be like, oh, okay. So that made me go research Cool G rap. And Cool G rap was when I was 5 years old, I realized I had a goal at the end. I would pull out my pots of gold. So I'm like, wait, I sound like this nigga? I'm like, oh, okay, I gotta get better. So I asked my uncle, I said, yo, they on the streets, they said I sound like him when I rhyme. What I gotta do? And my uncle was like, you gotta read. You know what I mean? Because you got to build your vocabulary. Because he first, before, God bless him, my Uncle Alex, he said, listen, let me hear what you talking about. And I said it. He said, you ain't saying nothing. I said, oh, what? What you mean what? You ain't saying nothing. So what you talking about? You got to read so that you could get a better vocabulary and then you'll know what you saying. So I'm like, oh, all right. But it went in one ear and went out the other till I got incarcerated. And when I got incarcerated, I was already nice. So now I started reading more and more. Now I'm just annihilating kids that's coming through from Brooklyn, Manhattan, wherever they was from, Queens, wherever they was from. I'm burning their rap books because I'm so nice. And then what I would do is I had like an intermission part with the battle. I would be like, all right, hold on, let's go to a quick intermission. And I would do like a reggae beat and chat. And dudes would be like, Brooklyn dudes would be like, what the fuck? But mind you, I still wasn't saying nothing. You know what I mean? But they didn't know that. You know what I mean? Because when I chanted, you didn't have to say nothing. I just was able to manipulate the voice though enough that it was like, oh, okay, that's dope. You know what I mean? And as time went on, I just kept, reading more and getting more educated and getting more knowledgeable with it.
What year were you incarcerated? And like, how old are you when you first get incarcerated?
That first that was 92 was when I first got incarcerated. Um, what saved me was that I did some shit in there that it was like smart, but it was like I didn't know that it was smart. Like I just did it. Um, I was working in a spot. The nice.
You muted. You muted.
Yeah, can y'all hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, somebody called my phone just now, so I don't know. I guess they was trying. They might have tried to like take it off, but we zapped them. So um,
You was working in the spot.
I was working in the spot. You know what I mean? And when I was working in the spot, they raided the spot, so there was no way for me to get out. You know what I mean? They had both doors. They had both doors. You know,
Surrounded.
Surrounded.
surrounded. So I was like, all right, cool. What I did was I unlocked the door so that they didn't have to break it in. You know what I mean? And I laid across the bed and took my school books out and put them out like as if I was working, doing schoolwork. And I laid down to act like I was asleep with the pen in my hand. So when they came in, it was like, get on your feet. And they arrested me. But my lawyer was like, he was doing his homework and he got kicked out of his grandmother's house. And this is why he went here. He wasn't the one selling drugs in here. He just knew that this was a vacant apartment that people did stuff in, and he was able to go in there. And I was able to get a 1 and 3 behind that because it was mad shit in there. There was a gun, there was heroin, there was crack, there was all kinds of shit in there. So I was supposed to get mad time for it. But I was a youthful offender, and it was like, you good. You know what I mean? And that was my first bid.
So which was about 14?
Now I was probably about I was probably like about I was I was 15. I was 15. I just turned 16.
Okay.
And,
Yeah, I was 15.
So
I was
you went
about
to
to
the
turn
door,
16. No,
but
I turned 16. I just
but
turned 16 a week before.
you ain't have to go to adult prison though, did you?
I did because I had just turned 16.
So damn, they put a 16-year-old in an adult prison with niggas who've been there 45 years with life.
Right,
That
right,
doesn't even
right,
make sense to me. That
right,
what you think I'm gonna do? I gotta, you feel me? I can get life, nigga. That 1 to 3 can turn to life if I
right.
fuck with the
right,
wrong
yeah.
people.
So
So
what
you start
saved me?
reading though, right?
Yeah, but what saved me was I wasn't hood. That's what saved me. See, I wasn't a hood. I wasn't a hood nigga. So since I wasn't a hood nigga, I didn't do hood shit. So, like for instance, I had two Cuban links. I don't know that these shits is you could get killed in jail for this shit. I don't know that. I'm just going. One of them is my father's chain. The other one was mine. My father, my father didn't even know I had his chain on. But I would take it out the jewelry box because he never wore it. So I would wear it, and I'd have two chains on. But now I'm in jail, and when you in jail, the smallest things look like the biggest things. So now these two Cubans, they not the smallest chains, but they not the biggest chains either. But these shits look nice.
Shit look
So
like a steak dinner.
Yeah.
niggas is looking at me like, yo, who the fuck is this nigga with the two shines on? I'm like, the two shines on? Who the fuck are they talking about?
You nigga, hey,
They
what?
yo, they talking about me. They like, yo, this nigga got two shines on? Who the fuck is this nigga? Where's he from? Staten Island? Then niggas is clowning us because when they call Staten Island out for court, only like 4 people stand up. 4 or 5 people stand up because it's a small borough. You know what I mean? So they like Staten Island, no, Richmond County going out for court. So you got about 6, 7 niggas who stand up. All the niggas in the mess hall laughing. Oh shit, niggas from Staten Island. Ooh, Staten Island niggas. You know what I mean? But opposed to Brooklyn, Kings County going out for court, you got 60 niggas that get up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Opposed to Manhattan court, Bronx court, where you got 40, 50 people who stand up at a time. Then they'll say Richmond County, Staten Island. You got about 6 niggas that get up.
Right.
Right. And
You
you
know
in
what I
there with the
mean?
shines on. You got
Right. And I
yeah,
got the
yeah.
shines on. They like, is this nigga crazy? We gonna kill this nigga when he come back, man, for them 2 chains. You know what I mean? So, it was crazy.
Now, fast forward past that. So while you in jail, obviously, is what's happening with the rap with Wu? Because you say Ghostface, your older cousin, so you look up to him. And where
Hmm.
are they at in their career right now?
They taking off. They
Yeah,
taking off. But I'm not even following them.
yeah,
I don't even know. I'm not following them the way that I should be following them. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Because again, I'm not interested in hip hop music like that.
yeah,
I'm more interested in Keith Sweat,
yeah,
Al B. Shaw, Ralph Tresvant,
yeah.
Belle Biv DeVoe. I'm more interested in that kind of music. I'm not really interested in that. You know what I mean? So I wasn't enthused. You know what I mean? Sure, God bless Old Dirty was amazing when you first heard him. I'll be sticking pins in your head like a fucking nurse. I'll attack any nigga who's but niggas was like, wait, what? What is this? Wait, what? What's going on right now? This is a new type of rap?
Yeah.
Because it was like that him and Meth was like just something different when they got on the rap. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Their whole swag was different. You know what I mean? So it was because when it came to like listening to rap, we was more like LL, Grand Poobah,
And it was
Brand
always
Nubian.
from a fan perspective. Nowadays, it's from because a nigga is a rapper, he listening to rappers. But back then, it was from a fan perspective. So you could be like, yo, I really fuck with that. That's tight.
Right,
Right.
right.
So what are these 2 years? What is this 1 to 3 like in prison for a 16-year-old kid? Like that's not you not a hood nigga. So like what are you encountering in this? Is like people trying to take advantage of you not being a hood nigga? Is this transforming you for the worse? Because like I don't think you should be in a dark prison at this time. And I know nobody who around you think this. So like and you in there.
It helped me. It helped me because what it gave it let sure I ended up having to send jewelry home. The I remember her name. Her name was Captain Howard, and we had a search and I wasn't even in population yet. I was still in Mod 6 permissive program. And they were like, because I was gonna be able to stay there because I was gonna go to school. But something had happened and a situation broke out and they canceled school. And so we all had to go to regular population. But before we all got transferred to regular population, they had did a search to make sure we wasn't going to the next houses with razors or any kind of contraband. And the lady, Captain Howard, she was a black sister. She said, "You didn't put those in property?" I said, "Put what in property?" "Your chains." I said, "Oh no, this one is my dad's and one is mine." I'm telling her that, like I know this little woman. And she's like, yeah, 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 I get it. I see it. She said, she called the officer. She said, "Bruce, um, I'm gonna need him to get a disbursement form and I'm gonna need him to vouch those. Because I'm not sending him to another house with those around his neck." And it was like, I'm like, wait, what? I'm losing them? Y'all taking them from me? It's like, nah, you gonna have them. When your family come and see you on a visit, give them that form and they'll be able to pick them up from property. And I was like, all right, cool. And it was cool because then, as I went to the next dorm, I went to Murder Mall 9. And I got what she was saying because that
Immediately,
was
like you immediately you got
immediately I got it. Because I was like, okay, so this is gladiator school. And I had a friend of mine, we call him Peanut, but his real name is Amos. So he was like, when I got locked up with him, he was like, yo, just be careful and watch your back and don't you know what I mean? Don't trust nobody. And I'm wondering, like, why the fuck is he telling me all of this for? This shit don't even seem like that because I'm not in population. I'm in some program school shit. And that's when they said, you know what? We sending y'all to population. And when we went down in that corridor, they had a Harlem and Queens side, and they had a just Brooklyn side. And I mean, I met some of the most gangster niggas in my motherfucking life, man. And they was like, yo, they took a liking to me because I was so pure.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They knew that there were certain things that they would say that the average nigga would jump down their throat for. And I wouldn't. It's like it would fly over my head.
right.
But I
I don't
wasn't
even know. Yeah, yeah. I
right,
don't know.
but I wasn't soft though. You know what I mean? I would fight you because that's what I grew up doing, fighting. You know what I mean? I wasn't a shooter. I never was a shooter because I was a suburb kid. I was a kickball kid. I was a wiffle ball kid. You know what I mean? Dodgeball. You know what I mean? Hide and seek. You know, I wasn't in the projects, so I wasn't
Subjected to that. You wasn't subjected to that. That wasn't a
right,
normal
right.
lifestyle. Which even, I mean, I don't think that should be normal for no kid. You know what I mean? Just
Mm-hmm.
like I don't think you should be sending 16-year-olds for, especially for a non-violent crime, to adult prison. Even for a violent crime, it's you can house that, but that's the game. But look though, so you start to do music after you get out of jail. What's the first project that you put out yourself?
I had the first project I did by myself. It was a song from what's his name? Um 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 oh man, what the fuck is this guy's name, man? Um um Diamond D.
Yeah, yeah.
Diamond D had a song, and I had this guy that I grew up with. His name was GC. GC was a DJ in West Brighton, and GC we used to go to GC's house to record. The old school way. With the tape recorder and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I had recorded my first song. It was called "Give Me My Props." And we used the Diamond D. Come on and give me my props. You could kick it with your little sister, with your moms and your pops. Come on and give me my props. And I rapped over that. He had a beat. We used that as a sample. He scratched that in, and that was my first neighborhood joint. You know what I mean? And all the kids was like, "Yo, wow, this is dope. I didn't even know you do this. Wow." And that was that. You know what I mean? And it was like, I was just basically, doing what I needed to do. You know what I mean? And making it happen. On that level of making it go boom. You know what I mean?
So was that something you just released in the neighborhood, or was that like you put it in the world?
That was just something that I put out in the neighborhood. You know what I mean?
Okay. And did it do for you what you wanted it? Like people finally figuring out that you've been practicing your craft and working on your skills and stuff like that?
Nah, not really. Not really. That shit was nothing. That shit was just basically like that shit didn't go no further than three houses. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? That was nothing. You know what I mean? But as I got, we had other teams, other crews from West Brighton where I was from, one called Triple Threat, um, and some other kids, who would rhyme and all that. And then my cousin, a friend of mine's named Tyree, they got down with the Triple Threat kids, and they merged a group called Elements of Death.
Okay.
And they was going to Howard Homecomings, you know what I mean, and all of that stuff, and doing what they needed to do, you know what I mean. And it was pretty dope, you know what I mean. It was pretty dope how they had it going on, you know what I mean. And it was a dope experience because I was dolo, you know what I mean, and I always wanted to be dolo, so I just started writing, and then I just started getting better, and now I'm burning kids on the streets.
Yeah.
And I remember, I was my cousin Junior, God bless him. He passed away. June did a lot of stuff with Puff Daddy's house. He did a lot of Rough Ends. He did Faith Evans. Um, he had produced this joint with Mr. Biggs. You got to keep me jig with Little Kim and I forgot who the R&B kids was that sang the song. But he was doing a lot of stuff with them, you know what I mean? And he basically, was like, hey, you know what I mean? He basically, he had me rocking. You know what I mean? He was doing a lot of dope. June was nice. You know what I mean? June was doing stuff with CNC Music Factory. You know what I mean? June was like really, really, really nice. You
So
know what
what
I
was he, a
mean?
writer?
No, yeah, June was a writer. June was a writer and a composer. June was dope. You know what I mean? To me, June to me, I don't know how anybody else may feel or what, but to me, when it comes to Staten Island producers, nobody could fuck with Junior. To this day, even though he's gone and passed, no producer on Staten Island could fuck with my cousin Junior. None. Yo, this dude would go to the studio and he would make 2, 3 beats in front of your face in a matter of 20 minutes, and they'd be better than anything on the fucking radio, and then he'll tell you could keep them.
So you got your song that went a couple houses. What you working on now for the people? Because you obviously grew as an artist. You gained notoriety. You had a few songs. What you working on now for the people?
I wasn't working on nothing really. I was just chilling. You know what I mean? I wasn't working on anything really. And after that, you know what I mean? After that, it was like, just basically, after that came about, I had seen Capadonna. I seen my godbrother on the ferry. And when I seen him on the ferry, it was like, I was like, okay, what's up? You know, he had knew what I was doing, or he knew what I was dealing with. You know what I mean? And when I was doing what I was dealing with, he was like, yo, well, you know, what's up? You know what I mean? What you wanna he's like, I know you doing whatever you doing or however you got it going, but yo, I got a situation right now where I'm about to go record for my album. And I'm like, oh, all right, cool. You know what I mean? I said, I'm not really interested in that though. You know what I mean? I'm fucking with my cousin Junior. And he was like, all right, cool. But you know, just come on, come through, come to the mansion. You know what I mean? And I'm like, the mansion? What mansion? He's like, the Wu Mansion. I was like, all right, it's all good. I wasn't pressed for going there. I don't care about that shit. You know what I mean? So he was like, all right. And he brought me there and we did the pillage. You know what I mean? And you know, after we did the pillage, it was just like, you know, it was like, yo, then we did blood on blood war, you know what I mean? And then we did pump up your fist. And it was like, you know, it was monumental, you know what I mean? Because those were the songs. It was that dope. They were that dope. And you know, before I was able to really indulge and get the true, you know, props and flowers that I was supposed to get, I got incarcerated again.
And then how long was that incarceration?
That was for like a year and a half.
Slowed your momentum down.
Killed me because now I'm in jail, and this time jail is different because now I know the ropes and I know how to move. Now I'm dating a CO, you know what I mean, that's in the jail. She's bringing me in food from outside. I'm not even eating the shit in the mess hall. I got my chains back, but now they bigger. You know, I'm the man, you know what I mean? Like on a way different caliber. And to top it off, Funkmaster Flex is playing the song that I'm on, Pillage, every single night.
So you on the island or you in the penitentiary?
I'm on the island. I'm
Oh,
on
so y'all can hear the
Rikers
radio.
Island.
Right.
Yeah,
So y'all can
I'm
hear
on
the radio.
Rikers Island in the penitentiary, Rikers Island.
Oh, so it ain't like a county jail. That's an actual penitentiary. I thought that was like a county jail. How
No,
that works?
well,
That's what I'm saying. Shit like that.
yeah, well, Rikers Island is a county jail, but it's more like a vocational county jail where
So you could get
everybody
sentenced
goes.
to Rikers Island. It's like the county jail, but they could sentence you to 2 years in Rikers Island. You ain't
Right,
gonna go upstate. Like
Okay.
you not
right.
gonna
Okay.
If you do, but that's if you doing city time. Feel
oh,
me?
right,
Nine
right.
times out of 10, like if you get caught with a gun, they might give you 8 months. You'll do that. You could do that right there in Rikers on Rikers Island, city time. But if you got to do anything like a 1 to 3, 2 to 4, 3 to 6, you know, 4.5 to 12, those is upstate numbers. You got to go get a number for that.
Okay. I get it now.
You know what I mean? So
So how when Flex is playing the song that you own, Pillage, how's niggas looking at you like what the
we bugging the fuck out. Niggas is like, yo, son, you on the radio, son. Son, you on the radio. I'm like, oh man. And I'm just heartbroken. And then Shorty's
See,
coming
that's
in.
real right there. That was real, bro. You
You
heartbroken because
heartbroken.
what the fuck am I doing in here when I'm on the radio? And most niggas
Right,
are trying to eat that type of
right,
fame up. No, bro. I should be touring the fucking world with Capadonna, but instead I'm in here
right,
and I feel like a dumbass because y'all hearing me on the radio every night.
right. And I'm heartbroken. And I'm pulling a Walkman out of my bed that's considered contraband. So I gotta hide the Walkman. But at night, ain't nobody coming around. So we able to pull the Walkman out the mattresses and listen. And I'm listening and I'm like, damn. And I'm hearing and I start the song off
So your verse getting played all the time.
all the time.
He
Grim
dropping.
dog Ebonese, half yardy and Lebanese. You see me posted. And I'm like, listen to this shit right here.
So you hearing them drop the bombs on your shit.
Dropping bombs. Go flags, go flags, go flags.
I gotta keep it real with you, man. Did you cry because of that, bro? Because that is heartbreaking, man.
I was hurt.
Yeah.
I was hurt. I was hurt behind that. That was a deep one. And then, Cap was with Sony. So, with him being with Sony, they had him moving. They had him going all over the place. So now I'm seeing him on the road on shows. And I'm seeing a friend of ours it was really his friend, but he's doing my verse.
Oh man.
You know what I
Oh
mean?
That's
man.
tough, man.
Oh
So I'm
what?
really hurt. I'm like, damn, a friend of ours
Damn.
named Blue Man. You know what I mean? But I love Blue. And I love my god brother. So it's not like I'm looking at them like, yo, they fucked me over, man. I can't believe they doing my shit. Business is business. They gotta do that. But he's doing my verse though.
So when you get out of jail, what's the reception like?
Cold. Cold. You know what I mean? Because it wasn't like I came out to a Maybach, or I came out to, riches on top of riches. I came back and was just put back into the belly of struggle.
Oh, so ain't nobody hit you with a check and shit for your verse or nothing?
Nah, ain't nobody hit me with a check for shit.
That's crazy. I mean, because
You
the
know,
song obviously was performing, and
the song did numbers,
yeah.
but I didn't get a nickel for it.
So did that sour your relationship?
No, not at all, because I still love my god brother. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And in all reality, I don't blame that on him, because I know it wasn't him. That was
That's
the
what I
people
was
that
saying.
he was doing business with.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I mean? So,
So
at the end of the day, I can't be mad. That was, it's spilt milk.
Yeah.
so you out? Are you still pushing for your solo career? Because you said you always wanted to be solo anyway, and
Right,
you really just bumped into your family on the ferry. Like, where were you
right.
going on the ferry when you bumped into them? Like, where was you
I
going?
think I think I was on my way to Daddy's house
Oh, because of June.
because of Junior. So that's where I was on my way to, and it just so happens that I seen Cap, and I was like, but June didn't know I was coming to Daddy's house, so it wasn't like I left him stranded.
Yeah.
Right,
Okay.
right. So
You know what
yeah,
I mean?
so really you was just going to where you was wherever you was supposed to be, because you end up
Right,
going to the Wu
right,
Mansion, jump the first song y'all did. Not so you
right.
out, you still pushing your career. What is June doing now that you out? Like, where's June progressing? Like, can you go back
June
to
is
June?
June was progressing, but June was dealing with a lot of mental issues. You know what I mean? June was a heavy drinker. You know what I mean? So, he was dealing with a lot of mental, you know, um just a lot of mental stuff, you know what I mean? It really was like, you know, it was hurting him, you know what I mean? And it was like, okay, so that's what that was, you know what I mean? And
Right.
so um I just started going hard. I just started trying to, continue to get back up with Cap. You know what I mean? And, I would go out with Cap and, doing what I was doing with him and, doing a few shows and, doing more music and stuff like that with him and all of that. But, it just wasn't progressing the way that I wanted it to progress, like it had already progressed the first time around.
So what made you decide to keep at the music if it wasn't progressing the way you? What else do you have
Hunger.
going on?
I was hungry for it. I was hungry for it because I knew I had it. You know what I mean? And I knew I had came from jail, and I knew how to in jail I was praised and I was loved. You know what I mean? I was rapping on the phone. I rapped on the phone for Nas.
How did that experience come about?
A friend of mine, his name was Alfonso Page. They know him as Littles. He's from
Yeah, little.
Queensbridge. Littles, right?
Yeah.
So Littles was in the same dorm that I was in. It was two upper chop shop, And Littles knew I used to always burn dudes' mics. Littles was mad. We called him Lloyd. And what I mean, we was cool and shit, what I mean, mad tight, what I mean? And Nas was doing Road to the Riches with Cool G Rap. They were shooting the video for it. And I guess there was a payphone or something like that in Queensbridge. And Nas was around there. And Little's Lord was like, yo, who that? Nas in the background? Yo, put Nas on the phone. And he was talking to Nas and shit. He was like, yo, Nas, I got this nigga in here, man. This nigga's nice, son. Nas was like, word, he's nice. He's like, yo, this nigga's nice. He's like, yo. They was calling me my street name. My street name is Toucan. My grandmother gave me that name. He's like, yo, Toucan, come here, Toucan. And I was like, yo, what's up? He's like, yo, sing Tired of These Whack Ass Rappers. And I'm like, wait, what? Who am I singing that for? He's like, it's my man Nas. I was like, Nas? He's like, word. I was like, all right, cool, I'll sing it for him. And I only sang like a few bars of it, but that's what I was killing a lot of rappers with. I would do, the beat on the wall, you know what I mean? And it was tired of these whack ass rappers. Tired of these whack ass rappers. I'm in the Murder Man hooks and evil death looks. Fuck pussy. I beat my dick to gun books. And niggas was like, what? This nigga, what? Oh shit, what? You know what I mean? So, stuff like that was occurring for me. You know what I mean? So that's why I was like, wait, I can't quit. I can't stop. I need to see these dudes. I need to run up on them and really be, get next to them. You know what I mean? And, instead, I wasn't getting next to them when I came home. You know what I mean? I was just getting next to bullshit. You know what I mean? And shit that was stagnating me and making me, do things that, I wasn't supposed to be doing. And, 5-finger discounting and stealing and, putting my hand in people's bags and taking stuff out of bags and, and shit that, was just, below my standards. And,
Yeah, that is a drastic transformation to not being a street kid to now you basically stealing out of people's bags and stuff like that. Like, what is your relationship like with your parents at this time that all of this is going on? What's going on with your parents at this time?
they good. I'm not really in cahoots with my mom at this time because my mom is in Cincinnati. She's away and she's doing her own thing. And then I think the thing that kind of was like, tough for her was that one of the last twins was autistic.
Okay.
Which is my brother Julian. And now she got to deal with that. And she's dealing with that in a state that doesn't provide for that. It wasn't like she was in New York City where they would give her a fucking mini mansion because your kid got autism. Instead,
and autism is new at this time.
Right. You know what I mean? So it wasn't like now, you know what I mean? So it's like then. So, it's like she's dealing with that. I'm all the way over here in Staten Island dealing with, my baby mother and her running around and, and having kids and just all kinds of, just nonsense and bullshit that I wasn't really, just that I wasn't really ready to be, doing at the time, you know what I mean? And it was like, it just all dropped on my plate. I had my first kid when I was 16.
So you had a young lady pregnant the first time you went to do your bid?
Yeah, yep.
You got a son or a daughter from that situation?
I got all girls.
So how was your relationship with her being the oldest and you was a young father and in jail? How was your relationship today?
Well, today we good. Today we good. Yeah. We good today. We've been through some shit. But we good today. You know what I mean? We
That's why
good
I
today.
asked that, because a lot of young parents when they was young, well, shit, a lot of older, but when you the younger you are as a parent, the more you don't understand parenthood. And if you got other kids, those other kids get a better version of you because you're more mature, you understand being a parent, and sometimes the oldest child could
Feel
be upset
slighted.
because they missed out on that.
Right. And that's how it is now. Because it's like, my two kids that I got now, they 6 and 3. They are like, it's like I'm daddy, you know what I mean? To the fullest. Bedtime stories, TikTok dances, baking cookies, Encanto. We don't talk about Bruno. We don't talk about Bruno. All kinds of, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm so interactive with them. I wasn't like that with my other kids. My other kids, for me, it was just, to be a good father was going to the training camp and buying them a sweatsuit and a nice pair of Jordans.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Making sure they had all the flyest stuff when they went to school. Making sure they had all the supplies. Making sure they had pencils and crayons, and that's all I thought it was about. I didn't know it was about more than that.
So what you up to now musically?
Now musically, I got a lot of just vibing. You know what I mean? Of the because of the background. I got so much. I also was I was the lead singer. I was the lead singer in my grandmother's choir before she
Oh no,
passed
I knew
away.
you had some R&B in you, bro. You ain't got to tell me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, right, right. Yeah,
Once
I
you
was the lead
said
singer.
the music you like, I said I was gonna ask you, but I was like he can sing. You feel what I'm saying?
Right, right, right. Yeah, I got some new joints right now. I just actually sent the joint probably about probably about probably about a month ago. I sent the joint to Ghost. And usually when I send Ghost a joint, I'll be like, yo, Ghost, check this joint out. And he'd be like, all right, okay. And I send it to him, and then he might hit me back probably like two, 3 days later, and be like, yo, that was dope and shit, G. Yo, I heard some bars and shit in there, G. Word, word, word. You had a few lines and shit. Woo, I like that. That shit was hard. That was hard. And I'll be like, nice, nice, thanks. But I sent them one of my new joints, and we was talking like how we talking now. We've been on the phone for like an hour, and I was like, all right, so yo, that joint is in your whatchamacallit, he's like, that joint is in. I said that joint is in your email. Check that joint out. He was like, all right, no problem. I hung up the phone. I go to get up. I think I did something on my phone for like 2 seconds, like no more than 3 minutes max. The length of the time of a song being played, and I got up and my phone rang, and I seen it was him, and I'm like, wait, what? I'm like, yo, Starks, what's up? Would you call me by accident? You pocket called me? He's like, nah, G. I called you back. I'm like, oh, all right. I'm like, well, what's up? He's like, yo, this joint you just sent me. I said, yeah. He said, yo, bro, this shit is fire. And he don't really talk like that. You know what I mean? He always just give you your flowers, but he don't really like go like that hard unless it's that hard.
Right.
And he was like, yo, this might be the best song you ever made. I'm like, yo, were you drinking tonight, man? You know what I mean? Like, yo, give me a fucking break, man. He was really, really open on the song, though. He really liked the song. He really liked the vibe that I was going with. And he definitely told me that he was proud of me. And he was like, push that kind of music because you got it.
I could dig it. So where can people contact you at, man, if they want to keep up with you and see what you got going on, man?
S Childs underscore Instagram all day. You know what I mean? Facebook, everything is Solomon Childs. You know what I mean? And I'm verified on everything. So, you know what I mean? Only go to the ones with the blue check, man. You know what I mean? If it's something else, that ain't me.
Right, bet it up, bet it up. So before we get up out of here, man, we just would like to thank you for coming on, man. Like we really appreciate it, man. You taking the time to tell us your whole story, like, cause I bet you people ain't know a lot of those things about you. You know what I'm saying?
Right, right,
So,
right, right.
so we appreciate you doing that for us, man. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm Santoine. Everybody can find us at TCE Pod across Twitter, across Instagram, tweet TCE Pod. We'll get back with y'all for another episode. I want for my brother what I want for myself.
Right.